Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me this afternoon to be with you for this handover ceremony. I also welcome the participants, the colleagues who are virtually connected to this official handover. And it is actually for us the kickoff of the global conference for the World Press Freedom Day 2022. I would like first to express our gratitude to His Excellency Ambassador Aochamub, Ambassador to France and Permanent Delegate to UNESCO of the Republic of Namibia, for the exceptional level of engagement and commitment with which Namibia has hosted last May 3rd, 2021, our Global World Press Freedom Day Conference. Celebration was highly symbolic since in 2021 we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the initial Windhoek Declaration. And this celebration gave birth to the new document, which is the Windhoek Plus 30 Declaration. Therefore, in 2021, we took the event back to its original place on the African continent under the theme, Information as a Public Good. Over the course of 5 days, last May, the international community connected physically and online to discuss, celebrate, evaluate, and also negotiate responses to current challenges in the area of freedom of expression and safety of journalists. The conference followed a hybrid format with over 40 sessions, 250 speakers, and more than 3,000 participants. I mentioned the important outcome from this event last May, the Windhoek Plus 30 Declaration. I'm stressing this again because this document very much emphasizes the importance given to media as a public good. And this document takes us forward in the spirit of the original 1991 Windhoek Declaration, while acknowledging the persistent and new challenges to media freedom. To the original triad of independence, freedom, and pluralism, which are central to a democratic media environment, we have added a second triad, which is transparency, media viability, and media and information literacy. This new triad encompasses key concepts that are paramount to address emerging challenges connected to the new digital ecosystem. The 2021 event was truly global and accompanied by several regional fora hosting discussions with the regional focus. The event was very accessible with participants from over 150 countries that joined both online and offline. Additionally, over 100 events were organized in more than 30 countries worldwide. The event was highly relevant with international speakers, commitments to press freedom by member states, and launches of groundbreaking research and impactful initiatives. Your Excellency, the success of the 2021 celebration was a result of the smooth and engaged cooperation between UNESCO and the Republic of Namibia. This was only made possible thanks to the hard work of our respective teams. On behalf of UNESCO, I would like again to thank you and to thank the Republic of Namibia for the generous, engaged, and committed hosting of our flagship event. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I now turn to Her Excellency Ambassador Civila Lopez to thank the government of Uruguay for having agreed to host the 2022 edition of our global conference on World Press Freedom Day. This event has not been hosted in Latin America and the Caribbean region since 2013, when it took place in Costa Rica. it is due time to return the event to the region. Uruguay, in accepting to host the next edition of the event, is acknowledging the pressing need to provide a platform on which press freedom, safety of journalists, and access to information can be discussed in a truly global and inclusive manner. The COVID-19 pandemic specifically has brought forth a number of challenges for press freedom, ranging from economic pressures on the media sector to increased online hostilities against journalists, with specific threats against women journalists, as well as attacks against journalists covering protests against COVID-19 measures. I welcome Uruguay's decision to host the Global Conference for World Press Freedom Day as a commitment to respond to current issues and as part of a longer-term process to promote press freedom worldwide. I'm confident that together we will succeed in organizing an event that once again may leave behind a legacy that will serve to inspire the next generation of strong initiatives in this area. To symbolize the handover of the organization of the World Press Freedom Day between Namibia and Uruguay, I would like now to invite His Excellency Ambassador Aochamub to make a few remarks.
ADG, thank you. Ambassador Lopez, welcome to UNESCO. Firstly, allow me to thank UNESCO for the manner in which we have been able to execute the organizing and management of the 2021 event. In fact, we probably need to say thank you that UNESCO had trusted us in 1991 as a newly independent state to organize an event with African journalists, editors who gathered in Windhoek in 1991, which resulted in the declaration that we were just talking about. All those years ago, fast forward 30 years, UNESCO again trusted us with hosting a similar event, which resulted in the Windhoek Plus 30 declaration. Since 1991, a year after our independence, the efforts that we've made in preserving media freedom, ensuring that our media landscape, the management and ownership of it was plural in all respects, gender, the types of ownership formats, and that access to media and freedom of the media is a fundamental right that all our citizens enjoy. It is not something that our country takes lightly because it was the basis for our freedom struggle. It is not something that we celebrate to be called, we hold the #1 freest press on the African continent or 23rd in the world. These are not accolades that we celebrate in a vacuum, but they are based on the fundamental belief that our freedom struggle was to be able to enjoy those things. And today, it is the basis on which we govern our country as an open and free society with predictable systems of governance, where citizens and media practitioners need to have access to information as and when and how they please to consume so. With the assistance of UNESCO, as we speak, we are busy with the next stage, which is to ensure that we have a credible, citizen-owned, grassroots-owned bill and act on access to information. That consultation process is being taken countrywide right now, and the draft bill will return to Parliament, hopefully in a form that citizens feel that they've had an input and that it's their product. That is not something that's being imposed from outside our borders or from our capital to the regions, but that citizens feel their voices are heard and reflected in the final product. So for that, again, we need to say thanks to UNESCO for all the work that they're doing with our Parliament. And finally, it's important that we have submitted as a delegation, as the host of the 2021 edition of this event, on all our behalf, as a community that believes in media freedom, we're submitting a draft resolution that will go to the General Conference. And it is our hope that we will have a sea wave, an ocean of co-sponsors from across the world, because this is not a Namibian draft resolution. It is, as I said, something we're submitting on behalf of the rest of the world. And that we hope that when we convene in Uruguay in May 2022, we would have said that at the General Conference 2021, this resolution sails through with no objections, no politics, no side debates, no clever people, but simply a resolution that speaks to what the next 30 years ought to look like as far as the media landscape looks like. With that, ADG and Madame Lopez, I wish you all the good fortune as you take over the baton and organize this event. And we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Aochamub. I would like now to invite Ambassador Civila Lopez, Ambassador of Uruguay to UNESCO, to make a few words.
Dear Ambassador of Namibia, Mr. Albertus Aochamub, dear Assistant Director General for Communication and Information, Mr. Tawfi Jelassi, dear ladies and gentlemen, at the time of congratulating Namibia for being host of the last edition of this conference, Uruguay assumes with pride and commitment the responsibility of co-organizing with UNESCO the Global Conference of World Press Freedom Day 2022, which took place for the last time in the Latin American and Caribbean region in 2013 in Costa Rica. In this regard, it seems important to call the attention on the relevance of the Windhoek Declaration of 1991 for the development of a free, independent, and pluralist press, which contributes to the promotion and protection of freedom of expression, independent and pluralistic media, and access to information throughout the world, precepts recently renewed by the Windhoek Declaration Plus 30 of 2021. In the meantime, the challenges we face today are relevant. Filters that affect the media, the journalists, and the citizens, censorship, prohibitions, economic sanctions, fake news, lack of diversity and perspective of gender in the media, online harassment and abuse, including target attacks, as well as coordinated disinformation campaigns that often promote speeches for hate. It is worth highlighting the concern regarding the exponential increase in online attacks against women journalists, particularly in the context of the so-called shadow pandemic, referring to violence against women during COVID-19. While stressing that journalists have a crucial function in maintaining the integrity of democracy, Uruguay reaffirms its deep condemnation to crimes, attacks, and all forms of violence and acts of intimidation against journalists and media workers. As pointed out in the joint statement by members of the groups of friends on the safety of journalists at the United Nations on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day on 3rd May 2021, free, independent, and pluralistic media depend on the safety of journalists and on an enabling environment for access to information. It is of utmost importance to address impunity for crimes committed against journalists and media workers. On the World Day of Access to Information, topic absolutely linked to this conference, Uruguay strongly supports all these precepts and the inclusion of the Windhoek Plus 30 Declaration as an agenda item at the 41st General Conference of the UNESCO, co-sponsoring your draft resolution. To conclude, it must be said that Uruguay remarks the importance of counting on the UNESCO Regional Office in Montevideo as a hub of regional cooperation deeply concerned in the field of information and communication, as well as in the whole UNESCO agenda. Its presence and collaboration will contribute to the success of this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Civila Lopez, for your remarks. We have no doubt at the UNESCO Secretariat that Uruguay will successfully host the 2022 edition of our World Press Freedom Day, and that you'll make this topic top of priority on the international agenda. I would like also to recognize and thank all the member states who are connected, who are participating online to this official handover ceremony of our World Press Freedom Day from Namibia on to Uruguay. Thank you, member states, for being with us online and for your continuous encouragement and commitment to our mission of fostering freedom of expression, ensuring the safety of journalists, and addressing the issue of impunity for crimes committed against journalists. I would like to invite Their Excellencies, the two ambassadors, to take a souvenir photo on this official handover ceremony. Thank you all.